everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your 17th The Rookie Season 5 episode review, supposedly it's another crossover event, but similar to the first one, this is a crossover story event, which is now, so now I have to really classify. Now you have a proper crossover where it's characters jumping to each and from show, pitching in, assisting. The last crossover episode we got at the beginning of the year, that was a true crossover episode. This one is this is just a crossover story. Not to say it takes anything away from it, but it's once again ABC's very much marketing as this, like, oh, we are together, like, on the same night, that delivers the opportunity to create crossover events, which, again, I feel like they should really take more of the approach, which they have, ironically, in some of these episodes, but I don't think they really know how to, like, really solidify it yet. Maybe not this season, because they're still establishing Feds as its own thing, which I do respect. But it's so weird for me, like, you know, you're 17 episodes in, you've had one crossover story and one crossover, like, actual physical crossover. And this episode, it didn't really feel like it that much. Like, mild spoilers before we get to the Butcher recap is that the only Feds, you know, that's a direct Feds connection is Garza, but Garza was just a name drop. That doesn't really classify as a crossover. For me, again, I compare this a lot, like, you know, rookie Feds to the Arrowverse back in the day. They were like, for me, it was just like, yeah, a crossover event is characters from other shows interacting with each other. And remember, just 2 weeks ago, we had 3 Feds characters pop in on Rookie, and that wasn't a crossover event. That was just a regular Rookie episode. That mostly felt like more like a mini crossover for me personally. And also, again, another bold specification of crossover me, when the leads of each show is crossing over to the other show. So when Nolan goes to Feds or Simone goes over to the main Rookie show, that's kind of really what a crossover is. So enough with it. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm being very specific. This isn't what you're here for. But honestly, again, this felt like a very traditional Rookie episode through and through. It did not feel like a crossover. So on the Rookie standpoint of things, it was great. It was like another great episode for them. But however, the main crossover event felt like it didn't really. It wasn't. Obviously, it was a 0 because it's not like, okay, yeah, we know, like, okay, next time, tomorrow for us, you know, tonight as it were, the Feds are going to be tackling on the other Abril storyline. They'll be tackling the other cartel in their episode. So yeah, it is the same story. It is the second part of what happens to Abril's crew after they lost Elijah. Obviously, that is the crossover story, but, like, you know, in the reality of actually being a crossover event, it didn't really do that much for me, really. But, you know, however, the Rookie managed to make up for it for, like, doing its other storyline, managing to keep those going, and, like, I'm very much more interested in how those storylines are going to proceed going forward, and how does this crossover event impact the actual Rookie story moving forward. So with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So we begin with very cold open. It's very early in the morning. Nolan just woke up, showered, dressed, you know, all that usual sort. He gets a knock on the door. It's Selena. She had finally finished reading the full police report that was that what they had on her sister's disappearance and later murder. But sadly, she did uncover some new information. Well, not really uncover a new piece of information, but discover a contradiction where growing up, her mom always told her, like, oh, I was in the house with a headache and I was resting, and so I wasn't present at all to really watch you. But the story indicates that she went to a store nearby and then she was running back. So those are two contradicting point of views. One that she told her daughter, and one that she told the cops. Now, even though, like, yeah, Selena, it was a kid back then, you know, now it's under credible assessment of, like, you can't really discard that, like, you know, because, like, one lie could mean what else have you lied about? And obviously, no one, being the optimistic person, thinks that there could be a dozen of innocent reasons to why your mother fibbed on the police report. But they, again, are officers. They have to be very diligent and very correct that, like, yes, there is a chance that she may have fibbed on the report, that she could have filled other detail. Maybe she was involved in the disappearance. We don't know. But this is enough for Nolan to take over to Gray to see what they can pursue on this logic. Meanwhile, over at at the courthouse, Chris, Lucy's ex, which I'm like, oh no, are we gonna get? Is this the scene? Is this the moment that we're finally like a lot of fans were like, ha, told you so? No, not really. No, so he meets up with I forgot. It's Wesley's ex, the one working out with Elijah as his retainer, as his lawyer. So she's back on the field. She's already like making some moves, already making like very big plays after her brief arrest a couple weeks ago. But she's ready to get back out there, ready to like kick some ass in the lawyer field, i.e. being very, very shitty. But however, she gets a little bit of her just desserts when she gets taken away by Elijah's bodyguard. She gets transported to the middle of the woods, where Elijah basically says, yeah, after that whole thing 2 weeks ago, you better explain to me right now why I should even keep you on my payroll. Why should I keep you alive and not for this wood chipper? Which again, Elijah, actually body removal on that front is not that bad. Anywho, and not being dark for a second. Yeah, so she's scared for her life. She does not want to die right now. She's just, still saying, hey, I have any opportunity when I was arrested by the feds, by the LAPD to rat you out. I did not. I could even got my own lawyer that would have immediately put me under like bigger suspicion and like more than concretely put you as an actual criminal. I did not. I played the field knowing that this was all going to blow over. And now all the evidence they gathered during that cycle is no longer admissible. So all that evidence you made a mistake on giving away, all gone. So you don't have to worry about that. But of course, Elijah's like, okay, you got the point, but I could start fresh with a whole new lawyer that's willing to bend over for me. And yeah, but again, like really, I know you can't really make a lawyer disappear, Elijah. You really can't. Like, someone's going to notice, especially since LAPD already make this, like, theatrical connection between you and her. It really is not going to stick that well. But she makes a play of saying, like, what if I actually get you information from inside the investigation itself? Maybe something that can, like, definitely give you an advantage going forward, so to speak. And Elijah being more of an optimistic person, not really, but more like, trying to like, he needs to get an advantage now since like, yeah, LAPD technically almost catched him one time 2 weeks ago. Now he's like, okay, maybe we could take them down from within. Yeah, that's a pretty decent strategy. So she decides to fake being injured by him, fake being actually captured by him, but like, actually getting away from him and going straight to the DA's office and saying, I'm ready to confess. I'm ready to make a deal. Elijah just tried to kill me. I'm ready to put this fucker behind bars. Meanwhile, back in mid-Wilshire before this entire supposed deal is about to take place, Lucy's about to tell Bradford some big news. She's pregnant. I'm kidding. No joking. We're not there yet, but there's a kid involved. Apparently, before they started dating, when Lucy was subjected to one of Tim's last Tim tests, she signed Tim up for a Make-A-Wish Foundation sponsor, meaning that he gets to volunteer to present in this case, policing to any Make-A-Wish child that wishes to still be in policing. And yeah, someone's there right now for him. And Bradford's like, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm like, Bradford, you're in Metro now. You're only needed for the big moment. Maybe you have a bunch of big cases. Maybe you won't. Who knows? Like, you're perfectly fine. What else are you gonna do with your day? And he's like, you know what, Lucy? If you're gonna sign me up for this, you're being signed up for this as well. Which she's like, damn it, that is totally acceptable and totally reasonable. But before we get to that one, during the debriefing for the day at the bullpen, Gray fills them all in about like, yeah, that, Elijah's making some big moves with the cartels. They're teaming up, and like, that we can't really let him make these big plays while we're being aware of it. So we're going to do everything we can for the CIs, for everything that we have in our resources to do everything we can to block these deals. So work on that. Nola gets permission from Gray at that moment to get the detectives involved into potentially interrogating the corroborating witness to Juarez's mom during the day that her sister got kidnapped, in order to like, open up that case again, see if there could be any new information they find. Gray agrees under the discretion, like, yeah, but Juarez cannot participate in the questioning. She's way too close to this case. That will cloud her judgment. She will not be thorough. This needs to be done by the book, so please, you must take point on this. Of course, no one gives Juarez the news. They're like, yeah, we will interrogate him, but you will be a fly on the wall. You will not participate whatsoever. She agrees, but the moment that he comes in through the door, she's like, hi, I'm Selena Juarez. I'm like, God damn it. And immediately she's like already like asking like, were you sleeping with my mom? Did you get involved in this? Like, what do you know? And Nolan's immediately like, yeah, no, go to Aaron, go somewhere else, see if you can get assigned somewhere else. Like, cause you're not really, this is not helpful today. This really is not helpful. Even Nolan had to like go for like the back room, like the secret viewing room, to like make sure that Juarez wasn't there. Well, she was about to, but like he was like, nope, don't even bother, don't even do. I got ears like a badger and eyes of a rodent. I don't know. That was the Spider-Man 2 reference, by the way. But yeah, so Nolan, being the due diligent person he is, immediately does a pretty much of a straightforward interrogation about like, yeah, like, there's some contradicting details, like, we have reasonable suspicion that you may have lied on this report 16 years ago, that, you might as well tell the truth now, because lying then and lying now can still get you in a whole heap of trouble. So be aware of your choices. And he's like, immediately like, yeah, so we met during PT. We got prescribed opioids for the pain because we were both in accidents. All of a sudden we got super addicted to this, and like, yeah, we were cut off, and then afterwards we got involved with a supplier, and yeah, we started getting our fix there for a long time, and then yeah, that day in question we were both meeting with our buyer, getting our stuff, and then that's when the whole incident occurred. And obviously the main reason why I didn't tell him, because like, oh, she's under drugs during this entire incident, they're gonna take Selena away, because right now, like, yeah, like they just lost one daughter. She didn't want to lose another daughter, so like that's what she had to do to like keep her covered. And like, yeah, I just went to the store and everything. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, well, wouldn't the store itself say as well? They should have followed through on that. But like, regardless of what it may be, it was 16 years ago, so it probably was like a different time period. But regardless of what that may be, they just kept it a secret. They never even talked to each other again after that word, because like after that she came clean. She cleaned herself up for the sake of Selena, for the investigation, and of course, obviously, all the mourning that happened afterwards. So yeah, so even though this isn't like a big like, oh, we were involved in the disappearance type of ordeal, it was still like we were like not responsible adults, and we let these children unsupervised get one of them taken away, which is really, really shitty. So yeah, so Nolan, knowing this information now, does have to let the detectives know, like, yeah, there is now credible, suspicion that like this could open a whole new door to new suspects. Because like, if you're involving drugs here, there could be any amount of reason. Like maybe they skimped out on a payment, maybe they were overusing, maybe they're like, there's a different amount of people, there could be a different amount of stories. So Nolan tells this everything to the detective, specifically Lopez, about this, about like, yeah, there's a lot of information now. We could easily see this as like something different. They agree. He's waiting a little bit before he eventually does tell Selena. They're like, yes, your mother was using. It wasn't an affair. She wasn't involved in the conspiracy. It was just, she was using, and she was just trying to protect herself so that she can keep you. Obviously, Selena doesn't see that way, because like, again, like, she's like, she basically beat herself up so many times during that day of like, yeah, if I was just watching her every step of the way, she would still be here. And that didn't happen. And now there's the fact of like, well, my mom put us outside there because she didn't want her to like know that she was buying drugs. Honestly, I'm really sorry, but I'm like, yeah. So for me personally, I believe in the whole, you go back to like, you draw the line back to the origin point. So like, yeah, I mean, the mom shouldn't have, not been doing that. She should have just like followed the doctor's recommendation and stayed off opioids. She shouldn't have done this. I would have also said, like, just leave your kids at home. Like, they're much safer behind closed doors than putting them outside where, like, anybody on a random day could literally pull up and say, hey, there's a person here. We could do some things. Honestly, yeah. And I know, like, nowadays is like, the environment has changed where, like, people are not even playing outside anymore. Like, I've been an adult. I say that very weirdly. Like, after high school, like, being on the workforce and, like, going to university and, like, seeing myself more open to the world, I have seen, like, yeah, I've never seen kids play outside in their backyard. Then again, I live in New York City, so I'm like, yeah, there really isn't that much space to play in the front of your house anymore. But I live in a residential neighborhood, so I'm like, there are more front yards than common than like anywhere else. But even then, I don't see anyone like actually playing in the field anywhere. So I'm like thinking to myself, okay, yeah, it is because like, yeah, kids get taken. There's, stuff can happen if left unsupervised. And like, yeah, adults let their kids play outside, but they're not always watching. They always have chores to do, errands to do, maybe like the next meal to prepare back in the house. They're not watching them 24/7. But now they don't even do that because, like, again, their safety is important. And again, that was a different time period. Like 16 years ago, if we're counting the context of like 2023, that was 2007. Yeah, 2007. So I'm like, yeah, that was a very different time period. Like, I feel like I was still seeing kids playing outside, unsupervised before that. Now it's like, you're either old enough or you're with your parents until like you're classified as old enough. It does suck, but like, seems like, yeah, my mom was responsible for this, like indirectly responsible. And she's going to have to hold that over to her, which the next day when she comes over for her interrogation session, Selena tells her the truth, like straight up before they begin, like, yeah, I know everything. And the mom was even like, it was very quick of like, I'm sorry, like I failed you, like, this isn't what I wanted, but like, all they could do right now is just for her to like open up on what she really knows and what she really did. And then hopefully that could open a whole new door of like figuring out what could happen, with this investigation next. Meanwhile, yeah, so after that whole thing, even no one talks about it with Bailey afterwards back at their house. I'm like, yeah, like this is all new information for them. Again, this opens up a whole new door of suspects, but it does damage their relationship, like, Selena and her moms, because like, they used to love each other, they used to trust each other, and now there's like, that asterisk of like, you lied to me at a very crucial stage of life, and now that kind of really, it doesn't destroy everything, but it kind of really breaks a couple of the foundation points. So but no one is hopeful that even despite all this, like they'll still be able to find a way to get back to somewhat of what that was beforehand. Meanwhile, Bradford and Chen are taking care of a kid. I was like, yeah, let the kids' jokes begin. It's like, yeah, oh, I can't wait till they have kids. So they have kids, like, Brad, like, no, like that's gonna be hopefully years away. Then again, ABC shows tend to rush things out. Like I just finished, I'm binging The Good Doctor right now, which you can check out my quick impressions of in the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this show blows through fast. Like a whole year is like, yeah, damn, like, they're really like rushing the problem. But again, life is different. So I'm like, maybe you could be right. Who knows? The kid's not really into the whole policing thing for some reason, even though he chose this. And they're like noticing like maybe we should take him on a ride along. Maybe we should like, make it more fun or something. But he keeps disappearing at every moment. Eventually, Aaron had to find him. Another officer had to find him as well. They just keep losing him. And Bradford mentioned Pokemon and manga when I wasn't paying attention for like a second. I'm like, what the hell did y'all say? And what the heck happens for you to mention Pokemon of all things? But eventually they do find him tinkering around on one of the officers' computers. He was trying to delete ticket violations off his dad's account, which according to Chan's like, yeah, you can't do that at the station itself. You have to do that at a different facility. Usually it's the DMV. It's not really like the officers. What is it? They type them out, they order them, but it's usually the courts and like the DMV that like handle that all that information. So I'm like, yeah, here's not where you would go. You should have said like, I want to be a DMV employee, which I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm gonna be a shitty person if I talk anymore. Anywho, so yeah, he admits like, yeah, I do. He does have cancer, but his dad made him like sign up to like want to do a police station day because he could probably get in like delete all these tickets because. Yeah, between the treatment and all these tickets that he kept racketing up, it's a lot of money, and like and he's like the breadwinner, so like that's way too much money for one man to afford, as well as trying to keep up with all these other medical reasons. And he said hopefully that if they delete all the tickets, then that would be one less burden for them to deal with. And Bradford's like, I'm gonna teach this dad a piece of his mind. He brings him in, he's ready to like slap some handcuffs on him, take him away for prosecution, but Bradford has a heart because of Chen, saying that, okay, I'll give you a chance, but you have to attend traffic school right now, and there's a program where specifically your kid can also play in the arcade while you're doing this program, which I'm like, damn, that's like, honestly, pretty cool, honestly, for if you're a dad, you have a kid or whatever. And even Bradford thanks Lucy of like, yeah, there's definitely like, open the door like for you, making me a better person, for making me more open, that there are other solutions that are not just putting them away in prison, even if it's like the worst crime in the world. Even they joked around like of the fact of like, yeah, when we have kids someday, like I have to watch them more because you tend to lose them, which I'm like, Again, that is still moons away, very much moons away, but it is nice that, like, you know, they are agreeing that, like, yeah, kids are a possible future for us. So that's great to see. So back over to the actual supposed crossover event. So, I forgot her name. The Wesley's ex, she's making the deal. She's saying, like, yeah, I got all this information, but I need full immunity from everything. Y'all can take me down for anything else. I'm basically clear. I'm willing clear. And they're like, it's not the worst deal in the world, but, you know, unless you can, like, you know, offer us something in the meantime, like, prove your credibility, because, like, again, this is all sus, like, all sudden, like, you know, it's not really something that, like, we can really believe at face value right now. And, you know, it's tricky right now, like, to balance all this, because, like, yeah, this could be a big one for Elijah, but then again, this lawyer, she is a lawyer. She could do whatever she could to get herself out of the situation, so she could be lying about the whole thing. And also, for her, she also has to deal with Elijah on her back to make sure that it goes off without a fee. But it works. She gets her deal. Metro gets called in mostly. They're like, yeah, this is going to be an investigation. We're gonna be doing this assignment. Here's all of Metro's police numbers, so we're all in contact, which I'm like, yeah, y'all have them, but, like, why you gotta print them out? Which is sus as best, but, like, yeah, I think her name is Abigail, I think. I could be wrong, but yeah, so I could be wrong, but yeah, so she takes a picture of the sheet having all their numbers so that Elijah can technically track them. So whenever he's doing a meeting, he's like, is the Metro team around me? Like, I got this. Like, oh, okay, we can move over there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. But the big, like, lore that she pulls out is that, like, Elijah has a lot of money that he has to, like, you know, cleanse and, like, you know, remove, which, again, maybe he should get a car wash business. Hey. But so, yeah, so he manages to find a check cashing place that's willing to take the money off his hand for clean bills. So they stake out the place. They do see some of his henchmen bringing the money. They arrest him, and while they can't really arrest him for, like, the money possession, they can arrest him for concealment without permit. But again, these guys, like, I don't know nothing about Elijah. Immediately they see Lopez, like, we just wait for it. And I'm just like, dude, you're really not helping your case whatsoever. But sadly, that's not enough. They need somebody connectly directed to Elijah, because, like, these guys could be doing their own solo thing. You never know. Elijah could be their side hustle. But yeah, so they kind of the lawyer again saying that, like, yeah, we need, like, something really solidified that has Elijah there and there in the place. So she's like, yeah, well, I know about this meeting that's going to happen. Like, this is a big meeting between Elijah and Abram. It's going to be a lot of product, a lot of money. You want to be there. You want to be there. So, like, they're still, like, really sus about this. Like, you know, this is all too fast. This is all happening way too close for margin. So, yeah, so Gray summons a team of Metro officers and off-duty cops to, like, basically give the notion of, like, okay, so we know Abril is involved in this, so we got to trace her down. And I'm assuming Elijah doesn't know, like, well, Abril's also a factor here, but, like, you know, it is what it is. Like, she'll probably be fine. She'll probably have her trails covered, even though she was tailed the last time she was in America. So yeah, so eventually they dupe that, like, yeah, Elijah's trying to set up two separate meetings, one that's going to be a fake meeting and the second one that's going to be the real meeting right now. And also, so while they're working at the real hiding spot, so it's Gray, Aaron, Harper, and Lopez, while they're waiting for the real deal to happen, which it does happen. Bradford does radio and that the East team is not there right now. Something happened to them, which I'm like, they didn't address that right away, and they didn't really mention it. So I'm like, could that be the Fed's plot point as well? Like, oh, something happened to those team? Like, who knows? Who really knows? So once they have the eyes on the drugs and the money, they move in. They make the arrests. Abril and her men get away, but a lot of Elijah's men are taken down as well. Elijah manages to run away for a little bit. Lopez and Harper on pursuit. They're not spotting him for a while, but of course, the moment they split up, Elijah goes after Harper. He manages to take her out, like, you know, just knock her out unconsciously. He grabs her gun, ready to kill her, and then Lopez shows up, ready to shoot him and kill him. But again, Elijah's like, oh, no body cams, no other witnesses. Like, it would be really hard to, like, prove your story in court. Of, like, Angela Lopez, detective who had it out for Elijah Stone, suddenly kills him on spawn. Like, you know, that's very suspicious. Like, you know, say goodbye to your career whatsoever. So yeah, so Lopez is like, you know what? We're going to fight this like old-fashioned people. So they're about to fight. Harper thankfully wakes up in the nick of time. They both tag team against him, and they win. They arrest Elijah. It's all over, but Elijah said he has one last card to play. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, shit, we forgot about Wesley. So yeah, so back at the house, like, I was so scared for him. Are they going to kill off Wesley? Like, I honestly thought, like, there was a good chance they could kill off Wesley. I was like, this is too perfect. This is too cookie cutter. I'm like, are they really going to kill him off? Are they really going to? Like, I got scared because, like, the armed officer they got for their house, like, she was struggling a little bit, like, with the fake officer. She was struggling a couple times, but, like, thankfully, Wesley got some moves at the end. He got some moves with that freaking bathroom bar. Thankfully, he bought enough time. They shoot out the guy, and yeah, thankfully, it's all over, which I'm like, okay, thank God. We're not dealing with a death today. No more deaths, hopefully. So that's all over. Elijah's finally behind bars. He's fully, like, already sentenced to prison and everything. It's all over with. However, of course, April's still in the win, but the feds are going to be taking them on next, so they don't have to worry about that. So they're going to take the win for now. And of course, obviously, they're thinking of the bigger picture of like, okay, we took down Elijah, a big drug lord. Now you got this open vacuum space again. So like, a lot of people are going to be trying to lobby for that top spot. So I'm like, it's going to be pretty rowdy for a while. But Grace's like, you know what? Take today as a victory. Let's take today off and like let's focus on tomorrow with what might happen afterwards. Lopez and Wesley decide to celebrate. Like, yeah, it's over for now. Elijah is done. We stopped him. He's over. The Harper meets the lawyer again just to make sure, like, yeah, you texted us at the last minute to like even like solidify that I was still in communication with them. I just knew about the new spot as soon as I could, and which is again like it protects her. But Harper has enough evidence against her to like destroy her credibility in the bar. Up to 5 years because of the what was the term? It was I forgot what the terminology was. Statute of limitations. So she has 5 years to use this report, and it will still be valid against her. So she better not cross their hairs for the next 5 years, otherwise, yeah, you're gonna like be destroyed. And honestly, yeah, like the way it says, like, 5 years, I'll be season 10. I'm like, I don't want to think about season 10. Hell, in 5 years from now, I'll be 30. Like, the rookie started when I was 20. I'm like, I'm not trying to think about that right now. What did I start when I was 20? Yeah, I started when I was 20. So I'm like, I don't want to feel older than I am now. So, let's calm down there. Wait, did I? Was I 20? Show started in 2018, right? Yeah, 20. Was it 2018? Yeah, it was 2018. I was 20. Or 2021. Like, around there. Let's say the least. So. But yeah, so thankfully that does put her lynch on her for now. But of course, she manages to get another patient's phone elsewhere in the hospital, calls out Abril, letting her know, like, yeah, the feds are on to you right now. So be very wary of your movements and, try and do your business in LA quickly and then get the hell out of here before they catch you. And the last thing to mention is that Elijah gets sentenced to prison. He's about to start his brand new life behind bars. But then he meets a very good old friend. I forgot his name. It's the talker that shows up in every season. I forgot his name already, but he's like still with the beard and everything. He donated his one of his body parts to his daughter earlier this season. And he's like, I have the best library in the prisons. If you want to read any content, I got perfect for you. And Elijah's like, any revenge stories? He's like, I got plenty of those, which I'm like, are they going to team up? I don't think so. Like, a con man and a known criminal, not a good combination, but like, we shall see. We shall see. But that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie, and technically part one of the crossover event. Okay, crossover event aside, the crossover itself, very much like, it's a crossover story. Can't classify as a crossover, so it fails on that front. As for a traditional Rookie episode, it was great to finally see Elijah get taken down. It wasn't the way I was expecting him to go down, to be honest with you. Like, it wasn't, but then again, like I said before, in every review I've ever done, I trust the writers more than me, so hopefully maybe he will show up at the end of the season, like one last big twist. Who knows? Like, even, damn, I sadly forgot her name. The recurring antagonist we have for the last 4 seasons before her death in the show, and sadly her untimely death in real life. Damn, I was almost close to getting her name, but I forgot. But yeah, so he can still play a formidable foe from jail. So I'm like, that could still be a factor as well. But we'll see how it go. We will see how it go. But again, Brandon J. McClare delivers out the park with his performance. Sucks to see him go as a recurring antagonist, but that opens the door for like return opportunities in the future. But we shall see about that front. But besides that, it was nice to give Lopez a little bit of closure. Wesley a little bit of a badass scene for once in his life. Nolan and Juarez's storyline was very, sweet because, Nolan's just looking out for Juarez just to make sure she's doing everything right. And like, and again, Juarez is probably not in the best place right now because like she asked for it, but now it's like, it's really like kind of like questioning everything in her life right now that will be pretty much crucial going forward with her character. Bradford and Lucy having a little bit of fun with a kid. That was fun to see. It was a little more bonding, and like, you know, that's not like a traditional romantic way. Like, they're growing their trust for each other. They're growing their bonds. But yeah, people are already expecting like, okay, they won't get married by the end of the season, but she might get pregnant, which I'm like, that could be a factor. Who knows? They keep talking about kids a lot. That could be something. But we'll see how that will go. We'll see how they go. But overall, in terms of the actual episode itself, I thought it was great as always. 2 thumbs up as always. I love this so much. Great to see everything going on. The crossover side, it didn't really do it for me. It really didn't. Like, it didn't feel. It's not a crossover event. It's just a crossover story, which it is what it is. I mean, again, like, as long as they accept the fact that, like, you know, they don't have to advertise it like a crossover event. Grey's and Station 19. Like, I don't watch Station 19 at all. I have no interest in a fighter show right now. But if I do eventually watch it, like, their recent episodes was technically a crossover because, like, yeah, it was with Meredith's house being on fire. Mild spoilers for that. And yeah, but we didn't, like, we got a reference to it in Grey, but it wasn't like we need the Station 19 characters to cross over for that. We didn't. So I'm like, yeah, there you go. Like, there's your, that was kind of a crossover story, but you didn't have to advertise it as a crossover. So there you go. Like, that's all I have to say on that front. So hopefully they'll learn that going forward next season, if we get a next season. I mean, come on. We are now going into March tomorrow, and we don't have the renewal. Come on, give us that renewal, ABC. Give us. And come on, I'm watching The Good Doctor too, so I'm like, I'm really signing up for your service right now, ABC. So come on, let's get that shit done. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of The Rookie. Let's have a conversation as always. But I think that's going to do it for me today. Everyone, so run away. This has been What's the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Tube besides our Rookie episode reviews, we're currently doing Feds episode reviews each and every Tuesday, Walker episode reviews each and every Thursday nights, and Walker Independence reviews each and every Friday. We have our special episode 469 going live in a couple days, so stay tuned for that. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to us if you have not. I always forgot to mention, Rookie's going on hiatus again. Obviously, they're focusing on the crossover right now, so there wasn't a promo, but there will be no Rookie episode next week. It will be, we will be off for a while. I don't know when the return date is. It's either going to be at the very end of March, maybe even further, who knows. Next week, we're starting up our Perry Mason episode reviews again. We're back, season 2. Can't wait for that to start up. But again, that's next month, but that's next week. So Rookie will return in a couple weeks, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably have more details when Feds comes out in a little bit. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not. Ring the bell for notifications, and like, favorite, share. Plus, follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you members of the Rookie Nation out there, I'll see y'all soon. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.